everybody, grab your paints and join me because today we're going to be painting mountains. I hope you like this video.
Mountains. I'm so excited about this one. This is going to be great practice in learning how to blend our colors beautifully together. Let me show you a little bit of what we're going to do today. This was a test run I did earlier. So we're going to get to pick our brightest colors, whatever colors you want to use for your sunsets. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So what you'll need are some lighter colors for your sky, some either purples or blues for your mountains, and then a dark black for your silhouette at the very front of your painting. Also, you'll probably need a heat tool. What we have is this little heat tool from Amazon, and I just have it at my desk for my art projects. But if you don't have that, you probably have a hair dryer at your house, so that'll work just fine. Just make sure you're using it on the lowest setting. So Ainsley and I have some watercolor paints. We have just tube paints that we squeezed out on a palette in front of us here. These are 5x7" sheets of cotton watercolor paper, and I use the Strathmore Ready Cut 5x7" sheets. They're so handy and actually really affordable. You can get those on Amazon. We've taped them down so that we'll have pretty borders when we're all done. Each of us has a paper towel, a water jar, and a watercolor brush. Are you ready to get started?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is dip our brush in the water, get it soaking wet. We're going to do something called the wet and wet technique, and this is where you paint your paper first with water, and then you take color and drop it in on top of the water. So just dollop some water on. It's okay if there's lots of water. Go ahead and paint your whole thing with clean water. And it's good to move your brush side to side like this. Try to spread your water out so it's nice and even.
And no puddles.
Yeah, that's right. What happens if there's puddles?
Then all the paint will suck into it.
Yeah, the paint will just kind of sit there inside of the puddle.
And then maybe if your paintbrush hits it, it might like go all the way across your paper.
Yeah, so let's spread our water out. What we want is a nice glossy surface that's wet when you touch it and evenly wet all the way across. Now, to be gentle to your brush, try to go side by side like this and don't go with your brush. That's hard on the bristles. And hold your brush closer to the tip, although when we're doing things like this, it doesn't matter as much. All right, looks pretty good. I think you need a little more water though.
Okay.
So you want to be able to see that it's glossy. Should look like something that just got out of the pool. All right, grab your first color. I'm going to take orange. That's this one right here. And you can test it by scooping some on your brush. You can see my brush is really loaded up with paint, but test it out on an empty spot on your palette to see how bright it is. All right, let me show you what we're going to do. Take the top left corner of your paper and just drag your brush back and forth sideways like this. From edge to edge, sideways, and then stop right about there. Okay, so grab a color.
I remember like real sunsets and they start with pink.
Oh, pink's good too. So you want a creamy amount of paint on your brush, not too much water. Load it up with paint. There you go. And then start in the corner of your paper. We're going to have to work fast so it doesn't dry out too soon. You can mix in a tiny bit of water if you feel like it's too dark. So dip in the water and bring that to your palette. All right, so start in the corner and go sideways, back and forth. Good job. And you don't need to grab more paint. You have plenty of paint on there. So as it wears off on your brush, it should start to get lighter.
Kind of like it's fading.
Yep. Now, your paper might already be drying a little bit. If that's the case, we might have to let it dry all the way before we do the next color.
Okay.
Why don't you rinse your color out and dry in your paper towel. And then take whatever's left in your brush and just kind of swipe along the edge that you just painted there, this little edge here, to make it smoother into the white. All right, let me show you what I mean. So we're going to dip in the water, remove that paint, but still with a little bit of water in your brush, and then go right underneath that pink. I don't think your paper was quite wet enough. That's good though. See how it's a nice smooth blend? Now we're going to take our heat tool and dry our first layer. Start thinking about what color you want to use next. Guess what we're going to do now? We're going to go back in with water again over the top of our dry paint. All right, so grab a ton of water again, and you can go over your color just like you did with your color. Go sideways, and I kind of have my brush almost flat, and I keep grabbing more water, going all the way down. Go real fast and just spread it out nice and even. There are a couple advantages to doing this a second time. If you weren't happy with how smooth your color was, this helps you blend it out. All the way to the top, more water. Grab more water. And don't press hard, because if you do, it's going to lift the paint up. We don't want to lift any paint. Now rinse that out and take pure water and keep your water going all the way to the bottom. See how mine's wet all the way to the bottom?
Well, it's totally...
Yeah, grab more water. Go fast. The thing about painting wet and wet is that you have to work fast, especially because, well, we live in Colorado and the air is so dry, so our paper dries really quick. It can be a little frustrating. You might have to use multiple layers of water. Yes, all right, grab your second color. I'm going to go with yellow this time. Are you doing orange?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to take yellow and I'm going to go actually over the top of my orange and swipe side to side real quick, just like we did. And I'm stopping about halfway. Try to blend it with your pink. Yep, so keep going back and forth, even right here, so it's not just a straight line, but looks like a nice blend. But don't press too hard. Really light touch on your paper. That's pretty. Very good. Guess what we're doing now?
The mountains.
We have to dry it again first. I think that's pretty good.
You can barely see my orange.
Ooh, that took a long time, huh? A lot slower if you don't have a drying tool.
Yep.
Believe me. Next, we're going to mix up a light purple. How do we do that? Well, I have purple up here in the corner. You guys can't see it. It's right here. And I'm going to dip my brush in water first and then swipe in my purple and then mix it on the palette. And I'm adding more water. So I dip in the water and scoop that onto my palette. And then add more paint if I want more purple in there. So I have a super watery mix. Do you see that?
Yep.
This is going to be my first mountain. And you want your mountains that are far away to be lighter in value. If you look at my example here, the one that's furthest away is super light. And that's because the farther something is away, the lighter it looks. Good.
Mine is already juicy.
Nice. You have a good watery mix. You probably need a little more water if you want it to look even lighter on your paper, so that when you swirl it around on your palette, it just looks like it kind of disappears. Yeah, that's good. So for our first mountain, I'm going to start it about halfway down my sunset, and we're going to actually draw with our paint. We're not using a pencil. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to start right about here. I'm holding my brush at an angle like this, and I'm going to paint a mountain using the tip of the brush. So always look at where your tip of your brush is going, and then I'm going to take the rest of that paint and just spread it out all the way to the bottom really fast. So you should have enough watery paint to go all the way to the bottom. So where you're going to be your slowest is when you're drawing the tips of your mountains. Then the rest of it you can just paint fast. You got it? All right, so nice. Be aware of the tips of your brush. Try to paint some points on some of the mountains maybe. Ooh, those are wavy mountains. Bumpy mountains. Good. Now grab a ton more paint and spread it all the way down. Yep, filling in all those little gaps. You might need more paint. If it dries out, just grab more. It's like this frantic rush to get it all filled in before it dries and forms hard edges. Grab more. Quick, quick, quick. You don't want your brush to get dried out because then it's going to kind of scrape the paper, and that's yucky. Good. Guess what we're doing next?
The dryer.
Fix that little edge there. Okay, lumpy bumpy mountain. I like it. Yep, we're going to dry it again. Here we go. Dry. Okay, we're going to do about 3 more layers just like this. The next one's going to be pink, and you can actually use the purple that's already there. I'm going to take, quinacridone rose is my pink right here, and I'm going to mix it with my purple. But I still want it to be kind of watery, so I can dollop more water in. Go ahead and mix up your pink next. It does need to be darker than this light purple that we used. But even if it is still really light, it's going to look darker because we're layering it across the top of what we've already painted. Now we want to leave our horizon line showing. We're not going to paint over the top of that at all. Okay, so the next layer is going to go pretty much the same as the first one, but make your mountains different than your first layer. So I'm going to make this a pointy one here and then like a rolling one here. So I'm making my horizon look different than the one behind it. And just like we did before, grab the paint and extend it all the way to the bottom. Are you ready? Let's try it. Great, our next layer is purple. All right, so we can still use the pink that's here. Just grab more of the purple and mix it with your puddle. This time we're starting to just use more paint and less water. So it should be darker, almost this milky consistency of paint. Like you just poured your milk on this palette and you can still see color when you swirl your palette around. There's no white anymore, it's all color. So grab your purple. It still needs to be watery enough that you can paint like a whole mountain and bring it all the way to the bottom.
This is what I did. I was like, duh.
Smile. That's a very nice face on the palette. All right, so I'm going to start and again, make my mountain a little bit of a different shape than the one above it. So using the tip of your brush, draw another mountain silhouette and then quickly paint all the way to the bottom. Go ahead.
Mine is going to be a little lower because these two are kind of close.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Put more space in between them. These are all imaginary mountains. There's no right or wrong way to do this. These are your mountains, however you've imagined them. I would fill in that gap first. Just take care of that right away. Yeah, because that's more important than even the bottom part. The bottom part we're going to be covering up with black. So you won't even see it. So if your paint's a little uneven down here, doesn't matter.
Yours look fantastic.
Thank you. So do yours. I think yours is like a little later in the evening than mine, maybe. Darker sky. All right, let's dry this layer. You all finished?
I guess.
Do you want to operate the dryer?
Maybe.
Yeah. So if you don't see any shiny spots, you should be good to go. Lastly, we're going to do our silhouette. You can use black, or I have Daniel Smith Indigo right here, which is almost black. And we're also going to paint some little trees. First, paint a silhouette all the way to the bottom, and then we can add our trees at the end. And of course, your trees can be any shape you want. So I'm going to go ahead and grab such a dark color. You're going to need much more pigment than water this time. So when you mix it on your palette, it needs to be so dark. All right, no more faces. We're wasting time here.
Is this okay?
Nope, darker, even darker. More paint. Good, that's it. Ooh, yeah. Dark as you can go.
Now the bubbles look like stars again.
Okay, let's paint our final layer. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
So once again, you're going to paint like a little hill. And then grab more paint. Quickly paint it all the way to the bottom corners and everything. Then let me show you how to do the trees. You want to make sure your brush is at a nice fine point. And start by drawing a skinny line straight up and down at the tip of your brush. So I'm holding my brush almost straight up like this. And then I'm just going to go sideways like this to create these little pine branches. You want to try it?
Yep.
They can be kind of messy, totally fine. But yeah, start with your hillside. When you paint your trees, you can make them different heights. I think that looks more interesting than if they're all the same height. And if you're feeling really fancy, you can throw like a moose or something in there.
Fancy.
I'm not feeling that fancy today. Yeah, so fill it all in so there's no visible purple. You might need to even grab more paint. That's nice. Very good.
Mine is kind of awkward. Look at that tree.
Like a little shrub brush, yeah.
Just
So if you're not sure how to do the tree, you can do a little practice run first. If you want to try on a practice sheet, doing the here, try it. So do a practice run with the tip of your brush. Remember, it needs to be a super skinny point on your brush. and practicing helps a lot. I like this one. It looks like it's braving the wind. It looks like a very courageous tree.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Since this is the focal point of the painting, the part that's going to grab your eyes right away, spend a little extra time on your trees.
I did way better on that one.
No, that's gorgeous.
That one also looks like it's in the wind.
Well, it does, but practice sure pays off, doesn't it? Those are great.
I want to do one more.
One more tree, and then we're going to add a little moon. Okay, we have this opaque white paint. It's called bleed-proof white, and this is a wonderful pure white that you can use for things like stars. White gouache works the same way. We're going to need a littler brush.
Bob.
What about Bob?
Nothing.
So taking our white, I'll just let you use my brush. I'm going to scoop up some juicy white paint and just paint a little moon. Moons are kind of hard.
You could also do a full moon.
Yeah, you could do a little crescent moon like that or a full moon.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
Should I just paint it
And
in?
then fill it in white. Do you have enough paint on your brush? Or do you need more?
I don't think I
You need more. So much of painting is just learning how to hold your brush and control the tip of your brush. Being aware of where the tip of your brush is and what it's doing, right? Ah, nice. All right, rinse your brush. If your paper is dry, this is the best part. We get to peel the tape off and see our final paintings. So you ready for this?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Ooh.
I'm going to do 2 at a time.
And then this. Hey, oh, that's like beautiful. So fun. Wow, I love it. Good job. Let's try that again. Oh. Watch my elbow. Okay, we're not doing high fives on this channel. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button.
Oh, and also hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.